Good morning. Thank you for taking some time to be here with me today. I've had a revelation recently, which I am compelled to share with you. I've shared many times that Nikita Khrushchev, who was the Soviet premier in the 1950s, made a statement saying that when the communists took over America, they wouldn't need to fire a bullet. It would be done by infiltration. Well, fundamentally, they had already taken over our country at that point. And the proof is that the 1871 Organic Act, after the Civil War, overlaid a corporation, which basically and fundamentally hamstrung our Constitution. And then in 1913, they implemented the Federal Reserve Act. And of course, the Federal Reserve is neither federal nor a reserve. It is a private bank, which does not serve the interests of the American people. At the same time, they implemented the IRS, which is illegal according to the Constitution. And they also implemented the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which says you can't talk bad about Jews. They were also responsible for the Great Depression, and meanwhile, they took over our education system and turned it into an indoctrination system. They took over our medical industry and made natural cures illegal. They took over our energy system. They took over every system, including the politics. There's been very few non-cabal presidents since 1871. And those who went against the cabal were all assassinated. McKinley, Lincoln, Kennedy. And they've tried to kill Trump, of course. So after World War II, they brought over Nazi scientists and Nazi players, and they put them into American corporations, universities, and governments. And so it's been layer and layer and layer and wave and wave and wave of coups d'etats in this country that you can't see because it's been done so slowly. They have a very long-term picture here, like the Chinese. They are so patient. And so by the time Nikita Khrushchev made his statement, it was already done. It was already done. And this is what Trump is fighting. And you can tell that this is his agenda because he's been accomplishing things brick by brick, especially in the past 6 months since he is president for the second time. What he is doing is dismantling the Organic Act, the corporation of the United States, and returning us to constitutional law. And this, it's a difficult, complex, emotional situation because so many lives are affected, and it's heart-wrenching, and we want the best for everybody. But what's going to happen over time, especially with what's happening this week, with turning us into a digital economy, and of course there's positive and negative about that, but what that's going to do is that's going to hamstring the cartels and the mafias. They can no longer do business as usual. They cannot send millions and billions of dollars here and there without people knowing. And that is going to make law and order great again, for lack of a better term. It's going to mean that people can go to their own countries and reclaim sovereignty. It's up to every one of us to protect and defend and activate our own sovereignty and the sovereignty of our own countries. America cannot do it for everybody. We did it for ourselves. We showed the way. It takes blood and guts, baby. Do it for yourself. Don't ever let them take your guns away. And that's fundamentally what it's about, because Satan will always rise again, and these people who are doing this, cabal, globalists, there's so many names for them, I call them Bolsheviks now because that's really who they are. And they stem from Babylon, which is a satanic civilization. It was ruled by Satan with child sacrifice and human sacrifice and an absolute lack of morals. You know, there's no integrity in that way of being. There's no honor. There's no respect. There's no love. And what we're doing is we're moving to the opposite of that. We're moving to God's world, which is full of love and honor and respect. And living by the rule that we are all one. So even though there's people out there who are desperate to protect their interests because they're so bought into that system, you know what? The love that I have is enough for them. And I think that's kind of the fundamental. It's like you have to make the love in yourself so huge that it helps others to get to the point of love. And to those who are acting against me because they're so threatened by me, well, you know what? I have forgiven myself for my mistakes. God has washed my sins away. And you have no hold over me. And I forgive you. And that, my friends, is where we all need to get to. I send you much love. A better day is upon us. God bless you all.